stop. Before you do anything else, before you close this tab, before you dive back into the grind, you need to hear what I'm about to tell you. Something is shifting. This isn't just a possibility. It's not a maybe. It is a decree. And when it finally lands, you're going to understand exactly why you were placed in this specific spot, doing work that feels way too small for you right now. You'll see how every single detail that felt out of place was actually being fitted together by hands that see a horizon your eyes can't reach yet. Stay with me until the very end. Before this is over, you're going to receive a specific protocol. 3 steps that were given to this channel for this exact moment in your life. Don't quit right before you hit the finish line. Look, you're competent. You're qualified. People around you respect what you do. But there's a feeling that creeps in around 10 p.m. when the house goes silent and you're just staring at the ceiling. It isn't exactly sadness, and it isn't quite frustration. It's that tension between knowing you were made for more and not being able to see the map to get there. It's an ache that doesn't have a name in any dictionary, but you know it by heart. It's not about being jealous of what someone else has. It's a restless energy that doesn't have a zip code yet. You find yourself waking up at 3 a.m. for no reason at all. No bad dreams, no noise, just staring into the dark with the feeling that you were just about to remember something vital. That space between sleep and being awake, where your life feels so much bigger than the one you live during the day. You execute, you do a good job, you deliver, you show up. But there's a weight you carry into the office. A question you don't dare say out loud because it sounds ungrateful. Is this really it? Am I spending my best years filling a container that wasn't built for what I'm carrying? That's not weakness. It's not an existential crisis or a midlife slump. It's a calling knocking on the door from the inside. And it's been knocking a lot longer than you've been willing to admit. And that strength you still have despite all of this? I want to honor that right now. You've been under this massive pressure, and you didn't buckle. You seek. You dedicate yourself. You do everything right, and yet abundance never comes. And the worst part? You start wondering if you're doing something wrong. If you're being heard up above. If it's meant for you at all. It's not a lack of faith or worthiness. It's a spiritual blockage that ordinary prayer alone cannot break. The Miracle Journal unblocks this in 21 days with a spiritual protocol that works exactly where your prayer doesn't reach. Along with the journal, you'll also receive as a gift the prayer guide and the Psalms manual with the most powerful sacred practices and texts to deepen your transformation. To claim your version of the journal, tap the link in the comments right below this video. You didn't buckle. You stayed on your feet. You kept delivering. You stayed reliable with whatever was put in front of you. That's not an accident. That is character being forged for a level of responsibility your current self couldn't handle yet. Hit the like button right now. Consider that like your public amen. Let it be a record of what you're confessing. Before we go further, let this word settle into you first. I know what you think when you look at your current work. You think it's small. You think it's a mismatch for what's inside you. But I'm the one who put you there. And what looks like a waiting room is actually a training ground. Before we finish this video, 3 things are going to happen to you. First, you're going to understand the spiritual truth behind that out of sync feeling. Why what you're doing now isn't a distraction from your mission, but a part of it. The way you've been looking at your life is about to get flipped upside down. What looked like a problem will be revealed as preparation. Second, you're going to receive a 3-step protocol you can start today. Not tomorrow. Not when the economy shifts. Not when you feel ready. Today. With what you have. Right where you are. Third, you're going to walk away from this video with a declaration that will cut through the noise the next time a hard day hits. Because those days will come back. And it will stop the doubt before it paralyzes you. Stay until the end. Do not break the line before the finish. Close your eyes for a second. Take a deep breath. This won't work if your attention is split. I need you to be fully present. There are specific signs that you've been chosen for something far greater than your current reality. I'm going to name them one by one. If you recognize yourself, and you will, it's because this message was addressed to you. This isn't generic content. It's a word with your name on it. Sign number 1, competence that leaves you empty. You're good at what you do, maybe even great. But after the job is done, after the praise and the results are in, there's a hollow feeling that doesn't make sense. You've called it being ungrateful. You've called it perfectionism. It's neither. It's a signal that your capacity has already outgrown your current container. When a tool was designed to build skyscrapers, but it's being used to hang picture frames, the tool knows it, and you know it too. Sign number 2, ideas that hit at the wrong time. In the shower, in the middle of your commute, at 2 a.m., complete ideas. Not just scraps, but entire blueprints for things you feel should exist in the world. You jot them down, or you try to hold on to them before the day swallows you whole. Most of the time, the daily grind runs you over and the idea just sits there, waiting. You've called that procrastination. You've called it a lack of time or courage. It isn't. Those are territory claims. The Creator showing you what's yours before you've even set foot on the land. The file isn't lost. It's just waiting for the right moment to be opened. Sign number 3, resistance that feels personal. Every time you try to move toward what really matters, not the busy work, but the essential stuff, something jams. It's like obstacles with a calendar hitting at the exact wrong time. The phone call that interrupts right as you're getting into a flow. The unexpected bill that shows up the week you decided to invest in yourself. The person who flakes right when you needed them most. You've called that bad luck or poor timing. It isn't. It's pressure from an enemy who knows exactly what you're carrying. Small things aren't fought this hard. The intensity of the pushback is a scoreboard, not a roadblock. Sign number 4, the sense of a promise. Not a promise someone made to you in words, but a certainty that existed before words did. A knowing, with no visible source, that there is something destined, that this isn't the final chapter, that the story hasn't reached the point it was written to reach. You've called that a delusion. You've called it ego disguised as spirituality. It isn't. It's a memory of the pact made before you were even born. It's the echo of an agreement that predates your name on a birth certificate. Sign number 5, fatigue that isn't physical. You slept 8 hours, but you wake up heavy. It's not your body. Your body can handle the work. It's your spirit carrying the weight of a postponed purpose. It isn't just burnout or a bad mood. It's the difference between resting and being restored. A charger plugged into the wrong outlet won't charge, no matter how long it stays connected. If at least one of these signs hit you in the chest, type "free" in the comments. That word is a declaration. Heaven hears what you confess in public. There's a figure in history who lived exactly what you're going through. This isn't a distant metaphor. It's a mirror for anyone who received something massive and was dropped into a station that felt completely incompatible with it. Joseph was 17 when he got the dream. It wasn't some vague vibe. It was a clear vision of leadership, of position, of a future that dwarfed everything around him. The kind of dream you don't need interpreted. You just wake up knowing. And then came the pit. Not a metaphorical pit, a real dirt-walled hole where his own brothers threw him. Then Egypt as a slave. Then prison for a crime he didn't commit. Then being forgotten by the guy who promised to help him, left to rot for 2 whole years, 13 years between the dream and the throne. If you looked at Joseph's life at 25, sitting in an Egyptian dungeon, you would have said, that dream was a lie. Life destroyed what he thought was a calling. Any rational observer would have concluded he was delusional. But what looked like destruction was actually curation. Every station he passed through built a specific skill that the throne would eventually demand. Potiphar's house taught him administration. The prison taught him how to lead without formal authority. The years of waiting taught him how to govern his own emotions. There were no shortcuts. Joseph's final mission depended on every intermediate humiliation being lived out to the fullest. What you are doing right now isn't less than your mission. It is exactly what your mission requires you to become before it can be handed to you. Now look at a secular image that says the same thing. Before every major season, elite athletes spend months in what coaches call the base cycle. It's low intensity, high repetition training. There's no glamour, no highlight reels, no trophies on the line. Just the silent construction of aerobic capacity, structural strength, and movement patterns that the body has to automate before it can compete. An athlete who skips the base might show up early. They might even win a few games at the start on raw talent. But they break when it matters most because what was visible had no structure underneath it. The foundation that seemed unnecessary is exactly what separates the champions from the almost wares. You are in the base cycle, and the base isn't a delay. The base is what guarantees that when the moment arrives, you won't snap under the pressure. Joseph in prison didn't know he was in the base. The athlete in the foundation cycle doesn't see the podium every day. They see the track, the stopwatch, and the work that seems to go nowhere. But they both had one thing in common. They stayed excellent in what was right in front of them, even without knowing the final score. That faithfulness in the invisible is the only thing that gets you to the finish line. Which story hit closer to home for you? Joseph or the athlete? Tell me in the comments. Naming where you are is the first step to understanding what this season is building inside you. Let me stop for a full minute. You're on a spiritual content channel. This isn't a therapy session, it's not a life coach call, and it's not a Sunday service. And yet something has been touched. Not because I'm special, but because what you're feeling is real. It's legitimate, and it has a spiritual name that most people are never given permission to use. Here are 3 objective facts about where you are. First, the disconnect between what you do and what you feel you were born for is one of the most consistent markers of a genuine calling in history, both biblical and secular. You aren't the exception. You are the pattern. The history of those who made it is almost always the story of people who spent time looking like they were going nowhere. Second, the period of active waiting, where you execute with excellence without seeing the horizon, is the most formative period of any real purpose. There is no proven shortcut that produces the same weight of character. Third, the resistance you find when moving toward the essential is proportional to the weight of what you're carrying. Smaller targets don't attract this kind of heat. The intensity of what you're facing isn't evidence against your calling. It's evidence for it. I know you're tired of waiting for something that doesn't have a date on the calendar. I know there are days you wonder if you confused a calling with vanity, if what you feel inside is a revelation or just a well-built illusion. But I know the difference. And what is in you I put there. Not to be kept in storage, but to be delivered, the moment the world can sustain what's coming through you. And here is who you are in the middle of all this. Your first identity, the torchbearer. You didn't choose this fire. It was there before the choice, before the consciousness, before any decision you ever made. Your current season isn't about the flame going out. It's the period where the flame learns not to burn the very people it's supposed to light up. Fire without control destroys what it should protect. You are learning how to carry heat without causing damage. You were made to ignite what has gone dark in others. The hope that was smothered, the purpose buried under years of pragmatism, the faith exhausted by prayers that seem to go unanswered. This identity gives you authority. You can speak on transformation because you've been through the process that incinerates anyone who isn't for real. Your second identity, the bridge architect. You were born between worlds. You don't fully belong to any one context, and that feeling of being out of place, of never quite fitting the mold everyone else seems to slide into, is exactly what qualifies you for your work. Every environment where you didn't quite fit was translation training. You learned to understand different languages. You learned how to speak to people who can't even hear themselves. How to connect things that were separated by walls no one else even noticed. You were made to link people, ideas, communities, and generations to be the bridge that makes the impossible possible through connection. Bridges have to be stronger than the banks they connect. That's why your process has been so intense. Your third identity, the one who goes first. There is a pattern in your life that becomes obvious when you look back. You arrive early, before the conditions are ready, before others can see it, before it's safe, before there's a marked trail. You didn't choose this. It's a recurring pattern, regardless of your will. The price of going first is carrying the uncertainty that those who follow won't have to face. It's the cost of clearing the land that others will inhabit. It's the loneliness of walking where there are no footprints yet. You aren't being delayed compared to others. You are being sent ahead of them. What looks like a lonely path is actually the vanguard position, and the one who goes first isn't alone. They are being sustained by the one who sent them. Which of these do you recognize in yourself? Type it in the comments. Torchbearer, bridge architect, or the one who goes first. And subscribe right now. Hit the bell so the next word finds you exactly when you're positioned for it. Now, for the protocol I promised. It's called the 3 Movements of the Chosen. It was built specifically for this period of active waiting, when you know something big is coming but it hasn't arrived, when you're sure of the destination, but the map is blurry. Step 1. Name what's in your hand, not what's missing. Every day, before you start, identify one concrete thing right in front of you. Not the big dream, not the final mission, not the game-changer project. Just what's in your hand right now. And say it out loud. What is in my hand today is the raw material for what comes tomorrow. This isn't empty motivation or a calendar quote. It is spiritual positioning. Joseph didn't manage Egypt in theory while he waited. He managed Potiphar's house and then the prison with the same excellence he later gave an empire. Faithfulness in the small stuff isn't a humiliation. It's the accumulation of the capacity the next level requires. Step 2. Silence the comparator. Don't just try not to think about it. Silence it. Suppression doesn't work because it just pushes the thought down until it pops back up. Silencing is interrupting it before it gains volume. When the comparison hits, and it will with names and faces attached, don't argue with it. Just say out loud, my race has its own lane. One sentence, not a debate. The comparator doesn't need a discussion. It needs an interruption. Do this every single time the I'm behind thought shows up. Step 3. Do one thing toward the more. Today. Not when conditions are right. Not when you have more time or more clarity. One action, small, doable, concrete, in the direction of what you feel called to do. Send the email. Write the paragraph. Make the call, not the whole plan. Just one step, because heaven doesn't move people who are standing still waiting for a sign. It moves people who are already in motion. The sign of confirmation isn't euphoria or intense emotion. It's a stillness, a quietness that defies logic, settling in after that third step like water finding its level. When it comes, you'll know it. It doesn't need noise to be real. Now I have to warn you, because what you received today has weight, and weight attracts opposition. In the next 72 hours, 3 things are going to be launched at you. Not as a possibility, but as a certainty. Tactic 1. The realism argument. It's going to come disguised as mature wisdom. It will sound like responsible advice. Be realistic. Stop dreaming so big. Just take care of what's in front of you. It will come from someone close to you, or from a voice in your head that sounds reasonable, or from a situation that seems to prove you were just deluding yourself. Your weapon. Recognize that realism and calling aren't opposites. They never were. Joseph was a realist in prison while still being the carrier of the dream. Declare, I am a realist, and I am called. Both exist at the same time. Tactic 2. The shortcut lure. This will look like a legitimate opportunity. Something that seems to move you faster, but it requires you to abandon your current training before it's finished. It will have logic. It will have excitement. It will look great on paper. Your weapon. Ask one question. Does this strengthen the foundation I'm building, or does it bypass it? If it bypasses the base, it's a shortcut, and a shortcut doesn't cut the path. It cuts the foundation. Tactic 3. The silence from above. It's going to feel like, after today, nothing changes. The day will go back to normal. The routine will try to swallow what you received here. And the silence will be used as an argument that this was just an emotional moment, not a decree. Your weapon. Silence isn't absence. It is the gap between the decree and the manifestation. The same gap that existed for Joseph. Keep the 3 movements protocol, especially on the days you feel nothing. What was planted today grows without making a sound, and after those 3 external tactics, the hardest one will come. Your own voice of doubt. What if I got it wrong? What if I'm not that special? What if this is just what I want to believe? That voice doesn't deserve a debate. Debate just feeds it. It deserves a direct answer said out loud. I didn't need to be special. I was chosen. Those are 2 completely different things. Type protected in the comments. The decree has been sealed over you. Before you close this video, before you go back to the routine that existed before this message, make a physical move. Put your hand on your chest. Feel the weight of your own hand. This isn't a hollow symbolic gesture. It's an act of being present. You are here, still here, after everything that tried to move you, after every night of doubt and every heavy morning, you are still standing. Take a deep breath. Now let it go. Release the narrative that you're late. That story you've been telling yourself by comparing your pace to people who aren't even running your race. Let go of the weight of comparing your path to someone in a different lane, with a different starting point and a different destination. Let go of the shame of still being here when you expected to be there. That shame isn't fair. It was never fair to you. I saw that night at 10 p.m. when the house went quiet and you stared at the ceiling, unable to name the ache. I was there, not watching from a distance. I was right there. That restlessness wasn't a flaw. It wasn't a sign that something was wrong with you. It was my voice using the only silence the day gave you. I saw the 3 a.m. wake-ups. I woke you up in those hours because there were things that could only be said in the dark, when the noise of the world couldn't compete. And the weight you carried, knowing you were made for more, but not seeing the way, that weight was real. It wasn't an exaggeration. It wasn't a lack of faith. It was real. But the weight wasn't a sign of abandonment. It was a sign that what's coming with you is too heavy to be delivered without the structure these years were building. You were prepared by me, with care, with precision, with intention in every season that felt senseless. And what I prepare, I deliver. What is yours is already sealed by heaven. Not as a possibility, but as a finished fact. You aren't going to arrive late. You are going to arrive exactly when the ground is ready to sustain what you bring. I cover your mind right now. The mind that is exhausted from trying to calculate what can only be received, trying to force an understanding of what is still being revealed. I cover your relationships, the ones that stayed, the ones that left, and the ones that haven't arrived yet but will come in the right time. I cover your timing, which isn't slow. It's the precision of someone who knows the weight of the cargo. and I cover the area of your life that feels the most stuck, the point where the gap between where you are and where you should be feels the widest. That area is covered. What was planted there will sprout. You were sent, not abandoned, not forgotten, not left behind while everyone else moved forward. You were sent with a purpose, with timing, and with everything you need for what's next. It is finished. What was delivered here is delivered. Amen. Type "done" in the comments. Let that word be your closing amen. What you received here is sealed over your life. Now think of one person, one specific person, not a group. Someone you know who is living through what you felt in the first 2 minutes of this video. Someone who wakes up heavy. Someone who is great at what they do, but feels they were born for more. Someone who needs to hear that this isn't the end of their story. Send this to them today, right now, before you close this. And if they want to go deeper, the link is in the first comment, waiting for them just like it waited for you. The next video continues what was opened here. It is done. You are not the same person you were when this started. You seek. You dedicate yourself. You do everything right, and yet abundance never comes. And the worst part? You start wondering if you're doing something wrong, if you're being heard up above, if it's meant for you at all. It's not a lack of faith or worthiness. It's a spiritual blockage that ordinary prayer alone cannot break. The Miracle Journal unblocks this in 21 days with a spiritual protocol that works exactly where your prayer doesn't reach. Along with the journal, you'll also receive as a gift the prayer guide and the Psalms manual with the most powerful sacred practices and texts to deepen your transformation. To claim your version of the journal, tap the link in the comments right below this video.